past few months, I've had a real identity crisis with Rain Organica in just deciding how to how to combine these seemingly separate ideas of good skincare with this other idea of natural contraception. And here, natural contraception, natural fertility, essentially whatever you're using it for, the whole point is getting rid of the xenoestrogens. And that applies whether we're talking about skincare or whether we're talking about birth control. Because if you're on hormonal birth control, it is the single biggest source of endocrine disruptors in your daily life. And there's, this took me a really long time to realize. There's little point in trying to clean up your skincare routine when you're still swallowing or being subjected to, if you happen to be using a hormonal IUD or an intravaginal ring or a hormonal intravaginal ring or something, still subjecting your body to this huge endocrine disruptor. I mean, it is essentially like the most potent endocrine disruptor known to man, synthetic birth control, synthetic hormonal birth control. So this has been a real struggle in how to marry these two seemingly diverse ideas. And it's still very much a work in progress. Today, I've been thinking about how I want to do this and kind of what that looks like and what that would look like when we're talking about the central idea behind Rain Organica. And this is what today's episode is about. And the reason I'm sharing this is because this might be something you're interested in. This might be something that really gets your wheels turning in this area. You might be in this boat. I know I I have been in this boat and am still very much in this boat at different levels and at different distances from the shoreline over the course of the past 20 plus years or so. So yeah, let's just kind of go ahead and jump right in. When you're dealing with a diagnosis, and here, whether that's autoimmune condition, infertility, or something else, at some point along your journey, you will feel, you are going to ask yourself this question: isn't there an easier way to do this? And you may be there. You may have already asked yourself that question. Isn't there an easier way to do this? You may be years from asking yourself that question. At some point along your journey to traveling back to wellness and back to health, this question will come up for you. And I know this because it has for me. Today might not be that day for you, but in case it is, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The reason why you're able to eat the pasta in Europe, even though that same pasta dish would cause you an inordinate amount of symptoms and distress here when you eat it at home, is because of stress. We live in a society that demands so much of us. It demands our body to always be in a state of fight or flight. You're working 40 plus hours a week. You're expected to be at the DMV on Tuesday at 10 when you have 18 meetings that day at work and are trying to figure out how to juggle all of that. You're working out 5 days a week. You're fielding calls and texts from 3 of your best friends who want to know when you're hanging out next and what are you doing when you hang out next. And your partner's got weekend plans for the two of you that you need to pack for and probably need to do some planning for. On top of all of those things, you started doing intermittent fasting so that you look great in that bikini this summer, all while maintaining that heavy load that I just mentioned. And that's the problem. with that kind of schedule and with something like intermittent fasting, and here I'm not saying fasting is bad. What I am saying is fasting on top of your work schedule and your daily schedule is bad. It is bad. Intermittent fasting or not, it's bad. So what you're doing is sending your body these constant signals that you're in survival mode and it needs to be on the ready. It needs to stay poised and sprung and ready for action. And so your body is constantly in fight or flight, and it has no opportunity to ever shift into that rest, digest, repair state that is so vital and so necessary for health. So, whether you've just been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, infertility, or something else, or whether you've been struggling with one of those things for years, the root cause of the problem is that you are overworked, you are undernourished, and you're burned out. Chances are by now, you've listened to at least 18 different podcast guest experts talking about your condition, and your kitchen cupboards are filled with the supplement recommendations of each and every single one of those experts, and you can't tell that any of those supplements are doing a damn thing. Here's the good news. You don't need those supplements. You don't need more knowledge on your condition. The only thing that you need to do is figure out how to send the message to your body that it's okay and that things are safe and it's a safe environment for your body to actually relax and just take a step back and unwind, allow itself to unfold and slip into that rest, digest, repair state. When your body feels this message, then it shifts from that survival mode to revival mode, and it begins the work of repair. Your body knows how to heal already, and your only task is to create a space for healing. So that is it for today's episode. In case you're wondering how to create that space for healing, here's kind of the next piece to that. It's what you don't put in that matters just as much as you put in. And here I'm talking about what you don't put into your day, what you don't put into your daily schedule, what you don't put into your body. And this is where we circle back around to that idea of xenoestrogens. These small things, and when I say xenoestrogens, I'm referring to those man-made chemicals that mimic natural estrogen, because those are the ones that the intelligent design of your body is not able to handle, because those are so new onto the scene of the world, those are so unnatural, that your body was not made to process those, because your body is natural. It is an intricate and beautiful design of nature. It's not made to handle these synthetic xenoestrogens. And so whether we're talking about what you're putting into your day, and this might look like a 12-step skincare routine, this might look like the 10 meetings that you don't really need to be at, because either you can delegate those to someone else, or it's just not necessary for you to attend those. This might look like tea with the person that you don't really care to have tea with. This might look like a million different things. What our goal here is to create space, and our bodies need space. And what do I mean by that? I mean our bodies need to receive less inside them that they then have to process and get rid of. So that's in the physical realm. So that is those xenoestrogens. That is those xenoestrogens, as well as crap food. But let's face it, the easiest thing to do is get rid of those xenoestrogens. In your schedule, this may look like, shortening your skincare routine. This may look like really sitting down and figure out who you want to spend your time with. It may look like offloading a few things off your plate at work. Yeah, it looks different in different areas of our lives, and the thing is, it all matters. The goal is to send that message to your body that it's okay to shift into rest and digest. And your body is an ecosystem. Your body is an environment of its own. And we need to shift the energy of that environment. And to do that really takes mindful thought into what goes into your day, both physically, in the form of the foods that you're eating, and also energetically in the form of how you spend your time. All right. That's it. That's really it for today's episode. This is kind of the official kickoff to the summer series. There will be a new episode every Friday. The intention is for it to be relatively short. It will likely go in and out of episodes that are a little, or are definitely easier to digest, or easier to listen to, a little less total geek out on the science side of it, and more just what are you supposed to do with all of this information that we've been talking about here on the podcast. And then definitely some of the more, geeky, pull your papers out episodes. They'll still be pretty short. The intention of the summer series is for it to be short, bite-sized pieces to take with you once a week. I am playing around a little bit with the idea of maybe featuring some of the local business owners, or glimpses of some of the full-length podcast episodes that I've recorded lately, especially with local business owners, just in case you have a trip planned to Southern California this summer. All right, I will catch you next Friday. In that episode, I haven't quite decided what we're talking about yet. There's kind of two possibilities. So stay tuned for that episode. All right, until next time, bye.